Today we're going to make mulberry wine using our mulberries from our mulberry trees. And as you can see, these were frozen. And as you can also see, these bags really don't hold anything in because, wow, did the liquid just get everywhere. The freezing process does break up the cell walls really nicely. And we don't actually know how much we have. We will weigh it once we get it into the fermenter. Let's do that. One other thing that I'd like to do is I have these fermentation weights. It's just a piece of glass. I'm sure Derica can put a link to these. I'm gonna put it in the bottom of the bag. That way, hopefully it'll keep it under the level of the liquid as we go. Some other considerations that you might wanna consider. Normally, you would want to use Camden tablets if you're using like a fresh fruit or you didn't know the source. These came from our backyard. And they were frozen in suspended animation for over a year. They are from 2020, well, about a year, actually. Yeah. I would say at this point, they are pretty well safe. Every berry counts. Bag number 2. This one shouldn't be leaking.
Yeah. It's just been sitting in juice.
Wow. All right.
So it obviously hasn't been leaking because it's filled with juice.
Get in your home. You too good for your home? And now, the juice, which is probably a little bit of water from being frozen, as well as, actual juice. I'm going to twist this bag, twist the top because the bag doesn't twist anymore. I'm going to tie it in a knot. Somebody's going to tell me I'm doing it wrong. That's okay. I'm going to flip the whole thing over so that the knot's on the bottom. Now I'm going to go wash my hand.
You can take the bill too.
So we want to get a weight on this now, and then we can subtract the 4 pounds, 15 ounces to know about how much we put in berries. 6.37 pounds. But that's good to know because the next thing I want to do is actually figure out how much sugars we have added so I know how much extra sugar I need to add to get it to a reasonable gravity to make a reasonable wine. There's 36.3 grams of sugar. I just Googled that, used Google Food. That is how I found that out. 36.3 grams of sugar in a pound of mulberries. So if we have a grand total of 6.37 pounds of mulberries, that means 36.3 times 6.37 gives us 231 grams of sugar, right? Which is like about a half pound, giving me 0.023 for my specific gravity. 1.023, pretty low. That's not where I want to be. I want to add about 75 points or 0.075 to that. So like 1 2/3 pounds of sugar. This is the hard part. I actually used 1.75 pounds of sugar. You know why? I couldn't justify keeping like a tablespoon of sugar. To calculate our approximate OG on this, we need to know 2 things. 1.76 pounds of sugar times 0.046, right? Because that's what sugar does, plus 0.023. That means our actual original gravity is somewhere around 1.103. That'll give us somewhere in the 13 to 14% range for alcohol. Next step, water. Just gonna add some. I'm not gonna add it all yet. Probably gonna end up with more than a gallon in this, but it's okay because when we remove everything, we'll have less than a gallon. Okay, gonna do the stirry thing. If you want to, you can totally add a cup of tea. And that is something that we've done in many instances. But since we did a test of wine tannin versus tea and we found them to be quite similar, I'm gonna go with the wine tannin. It says 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon per gallon, so I'm gonna go with 1/2 teaspoon. This is gonna be like a dry red wine maybe, unless we decide to sweeten it later. I don't know. We haven't made up our minds yet, We're making mulberry wine here and it's a work in progress. And I'm gonna mix that up. Okay, another ingredient that we're going to add is Fermate-O and a little tiny bit of water. This is about 2 grams of Fermate-O. Yeah, I am gonna add some more water.
Like up to there.
Now I know this is a 1.4 gallon fermenter. So to not dilute it too much, I don't wanna go too far.
That's fine.
I have one more thing to add to this still.
That would be our yeast. And so what we're looking for is something that's gonna work really well with a fruit wine, and particularly a dark fruit wine, because we really appreciate that color.
This is Premier Classique by Red Star. This preserves the colors of fruit wines, but it's also really good for making like a nice earthy red. Something you might have noticed that we didn't do. We're not gonna be taking an original gravity reading because I'm estimating the original gravity in this case. 1.104 estimated gravity. The important number is the second one, when it's done, because that'll tell you if it's done. What are we gonna do now?
We're gonna let it sit.
Probably for at least 2 weeks. All right, it's been about 2 weeks. Airlock activity has definitely slowed down. Let's give it its first check.
How low can you go?
Well, it's a case of, is it 990 or not? It's 992. Every time this happens, you can say, It's done, right? Well, maybe. What if it went to 990? 2 points, it might not seem like much, but it is still fermentation. So, just better safe than sorry. We're gonna put this back for another week. Maybe it won't even be quite a week. Okay, it's been 8 days since we took our last reading. Why 8? Well, because we didn't get to it in 7, that's why. Checking inside, smells like wine. Let's pull the bag out of here. Now, people ask all the time, how long should you leave the fruit in? That's largely up to you. You can leave it in longer if you really want to. Just be aware that there is a certain point at which it's really not doing much for you anymore, where you're not really going to get any more out of it. Right now, I want to get it out of here just because I don't want to have potential issues with mold. Probably should have done the reading before I took that out of there, but it's easier once that comes out. 0.992, perfect.
Cool. So since that is our second reading of the same number, we can safely say that fermentation is done.
We do want to get like a little taste. First, to see what it's like. Second, to see if it's lacking anything important that we can add at this stage of the game. Now, this is young. It was started literally 19 days ago. So this is not even 3 weeks old. Definitely has a little bit of that new wine funk. The taste is not bad though. Yep. There's a funk on there.
There's a funk.
It's not in the taste though. At least not as strongly in the taste. It's not bad.
No.
For almost 3 weeks old and totally dry. Do we want to throw a French oak in here?
I think some wood might work.
We really like the French oak. But you know what, today I think let's go with the European chestnut.
All right.
So what I have here is a Pyrex filled with boiling water. And what you want to do is get it in there and soak it for about 5 minutes or so. We'll clean up while that happens. 5 minutes has passed. Take out the wood. Put wood into fermenter. And when you just put the lid on like she did, put a new airlock on it, and put on our notes. What do we do with it now?
We let it sit.
A week, maybe 2 to start.
Because you never know how quickly that wood is going to infuse into your brew.
Okay, it's been 3 weeks. Why has it been 3 weeks? Well, we were sick and, life gets in the way. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to rack this and then give it a taste, see what we think, After racking, due to using our pitcher with the raised letters, get yours in the description below. Sorry, it just sounds cheesy when you say that, but I have to do it every once in a while. We know we have about 3 liters here. We're gonna do a tasting.
Before we do that tasting, Brian and I had a little powwow, and we were trying to reset our mind thought about what we want from this tasting. And what we want from this tasting is to reach a level of perfection that has yet to come, except for a couple times.
Well, we want to make it as perfect as possible.
Right. So this is a mulberry wine. So those words give me a preconception of what I want this experience to be.
On the color, it's like Pinot Noir.
It's beautiful. It is gorgeous. It makes my
very deep red. It's almost a purple,
heart
actually.
happy.
It almost smells like a Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
It really does. It has that deep richness to it. The oaking really made a difference. I think it really elevated this significantly. If I was in the mood for a dry wine with really nice mouthfeel, this is what I would go to. It has more sweetness than you'd think.
It is playing really nice in my mouth. As my dad, to quote my dad, it is making my mouth happy.
This is one of those brews, though. I don't know which way to go.
This is so hard.
Because if you sweeten this, you might lose some.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we can do? We can sweeten 1 glass and find out if we like it.
Okay.
It's probably half a teaspoon or less of sugar. I'm just gonna dump that right in there. I feel like I'm ruining it,
And what's your estimated volume of your beverage? Because we'd have to.
A couple ounces. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna estimate.
Oh,
anyway.
we're just gonna keep.
This is a theoretical proof of concept. Okay. It smells the same. I'm still undecided.
Well, sweet equals yummy, so there's that. But I'm not getting so much of the really rich.
It seems to have taken down the complexity.
Fine wine aspect.
Yeah, I might have oversweetened it.
It's like, yay, I'm sweet now. That's why I wanted to have the comparison.
All right, have the comparison.
We're just going to drink this pitcher and not have anything to bottle. It doesn't work going back and forth now because it tastes flat now compared to the sweet one where I know it's not flat. It's just because your tongue is like, oh, happy sweet. And it's like, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you. This is now our new point of contention or comparison. Will you drink this the way it is? Or is it going to sit on the shelf for 3 years and never get touched?
I would pair this with all the foods.
All it takes is for one of us to say they'll drink it.
I pretty much almost always comb the shelves
Yeah.
of mystery for wine-like products to pair with foods because I really enjoy pairing foods with wine.
See, here's my take on this. I could drink it sweet or dry. I would probably prefer the sweet one, but probably not as sweet as I made it. Here's the thing, when I sweetened it, it actually started to taste more like my sweet red wine.
Yeah, it was
Tasted
nice.
more generic, much more like a
Right.
like a table wine kind of thing.
Where this seems like
It's elevated.
an aged,
Yeah,
thoughtfully created
that's interesting.
product.
I poured another sample because we got to give this a score. Because of course we're just going to bottle this and it's going to go on the shelf. One of them will go away for a year, one of them will go away for 2 years. I have a feeling in a year this is going to be really something special. This is like 20 notes. And then when I sweetened it, it took it down to like 3 notes.
Yeah.
It literally just smoothed it all out. Yeah, there's going to be nothing left.
I need more for science.
My thinking is I would drink this, like I would have a small glass of this with like a spaghetti or a red sauce pasta dish, lasagna, something like that. I might even have this with pizza, believe it or not. I think this works with pizza. Might even work with chili.
Barbecue.
Barbecue. Well, barbecue not as much because barbecue is generally sweet, and this being so dry, I think it would the contrast would be far too much for me. I mean, some people might really like it.
Korean barbecue.
Okay, I couldn't do this with something sweet. It would have to be something savory, I think.
Do you have a number, or do you need to take another sip?
I need just that last little bit of a sip. Okay, our scoring system goes from 1 through 10. 1 being crap, probably gonna dump it out. 10 means it's like the best you have. 11 means it's better than the best you have and probably the best thing you're going to make all year. 1, 2, 3, 9.
I am really looking to enjoy this with food.
I'm looking forward to this in 1 year. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.